Well, hey there, folks and fellow YouTubers. It's your best buddy, Nuclear Skull 87 here, and welcome to a brand new series of unexpected walkthrough videos for the remake of the original Resident Evil 2, released in 2002, originally for the Nintendo Gamecube. But as you can tell here, I am playing the PC re-release of that very game, released in 2014 or 2015. And you were probably wondering why I'm suddenly doing a walkthrough for a Capcom game. Because yesterday, before making this video, I learned that Capcom actually had a much more lenient and flexible YouTube copyright policy than I originally imagined. Also, I'm going to be starting up a brand new series of walkthrough videos for another Capcom game, which is specifically Street Fighter 3 New Generation, as well as some other Street Fighter games. But definitely that one specifically, because that is my absolute favorite title in the Street Fighter series. And so now I would do a series of walkthrough videos for the very original PlayStation 1 game released in 1996, March 22nd, 25 years ago. But the problem is I have neither a physical nor a digital copy of that game available at the current moment. So this version will have to be for the time being, but mark my words, I will do just that once I have a said copy of that game available. And okay, before too much further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hit new game here.
Resident Evil.
Now, I was trying to make a video for this game yesterday, but the problem was I was making so many slurs of speech and I kept messing up on what I was saying in a rather unprofessional sounding way, and I think it just had to do with how tired I was getting as it was late at night. But I am doing it right now during broad daylight just because I'll have more mental and physical energy. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and talk about the game setup. Adjust settings for the game. Now I'm going to go ahead and select original when it comes to the display for the game, but for controls I'm going to do alternate just because the controls will be much easier to control, if you will. And I'm going to go ahead and do subtitles on, because then I'm going to have the subtitles on and I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Now, here are the three different difficulties for the game. Question: how do you like your games? Number one, like climbing a mountain. Fulfilling, but takes a lot of work. Number two, like going on a hike. Good exercise, but not too strenuous. Number three, like taking a walk. You can relax and enjoy yourself. So the first one, at the very top, is the hardest difficulty. This one here, like going on a hike, is the second hardest difficulty. But the third, last one here is the easiest difficulty. And I'm going to go ahead and do the middle one, like going on a hike, because it's challenging enough to be a good challenge, but not to be stressful or frustrating. Approved. Now, I will eventually do a series of walkthrough videos for this game for both Chris and Jill, as you can see here. But for this walkthrough video series, I'm going to go ahead and select Chris Redfield. Take a sip of my soda while this is loading. Saving content. Please don't turn off your PC. July 1998, Raccoon
Alpha Team is
Forest.
flying around the forest zone situated in northwest Raccoon City, where we are searching for the helicopter of our compatriots, Bravo Team, who disappeared during the middle of their mission.
No, not yet, Brad.
Bizarre murder cases have recently occurred in Raccoon City. There are outlandish reports of families being attacked by a group of about 10 people. Victims
were
were apparently
eaten.
The Bravo Team was sent in to investigate, but we lost contact.
Look, Chris.
Wow, both the graphics and the voice acting in this game is a vast
Bravo Team's
improvement to the
helicopter was a
PlayStation 1
derelict.
original, released in 1996, 6 years earlier. It's like a first-person shooter perspective,
Save for the
that shotgun
body
there.
of Kevin. We continued our search for the other members, and it turned into
A nightmare.
a nightmare.
false sense of relief, as you're going to see here. This is a very cinematic game. There's no question about it. This game is almost 20 years old, but it hasn't really aged graphically in a dated-looking way. I guess Naughty Audie's video games, aka 2000s video games, are just not really the games that get dated too quickly. Those are zombie dogs, and yes, they will be an enemy in this game. So you'll find out in some of my videos after this one.
Hey, Brad! Where the hell's he going? Chris, this way.
Chris, this way. There's our ever rough and rugged Barry Burton. Damn it. And that's the Spencer Mansion, the game setting of which we will be exploring here, as you're going to find out. Enter the survival horror.
There are only 3 STARS members left now. Captain Wesker, Jill, and myself. We don't know where Barry is.
Is everyone all right?
Barry. Where's Barry?
Barry, where's Barry?
He's...
No. What was that?
I'll go and check it out.
All right. Jill and I will stay and secure this area.
Chris? Take care.
Yeah.
Aw, poor Jill, just trying to be kind and caring with concern. Okay, so now, once we open this door here, this is where gameplay is going to begin. Okay, so notice that shiny object on that giant grand table there with the candles. That is a very important item, as you're going to find out, and I'm going to grab it. And it's called an ink ribbon. Will you take the ink ribbon? It says yes, because it's what we need to use to save our progress in the game via this typewriter here. It's an old typewriter. You can save your progress. Use the ink ribbon? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and use it. And yes, I saved a bit from having played this game before recording, but hey, I'm going to write over it and save because I am starting this game's gameplay all over from scratch to do this walkthrough series. Okay, save successful. Okay, so I'm just going to walk around and explore this dining room area of the mansion a little bit. I'm just going to walk around. I could press shift to run or jog, but I want to be able to take some time to explore the beauty of this haunted mansion setting. And this is a shield emblem, but I'm not going to take it yet because it'll serve a very important purpose later on. Okay. Man, look at the candles on the giant grand dining room table there. That is very classic haunted house setting and look and feel. Let's look at this painting just for the fun of it. A picture of 2 knights striking each other. The short sword has been thrust into the breast of one knight, while the long sword has pierced the head of the other. Now notice this giant grandfather clock here. May seem like just random eye candy right now, but it will serve an important purpose later on, as we will need it to solve a puzzle and unlock a certain area of the mansion that's right now currently secret. When the two have run each other through, the path to your destiny will open. Okay. So now that I've explored this area of the dining room a little bit, I'm going to go through this door here. Now, before too much further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and explore a little bit of this hallway here. It's locked from the other side, it says. It's locked. An emblem of armor is carved into the lock. Notice how it says that there. That means we need a key representing an armor to open that specific door, which unfortunately won't get until much later. But hey, that's part of the fun of the game. There's an elevator here. Doesn't look like you can access it from this floor. And here's another set of stairs. Another door down this set of stairs, I should say. It's locked. An emblem of a sword is carved into the lock. And so I'm going to run back up this fleet of stairs. So I'm going to show you where we need to go now that I've explored this hallway a little bit. Man, that music is spooky and unsettling. And the cinematic sequence will introduce us to our very first zombie. Ah, nasty. Oh, disgusting. Now, I would take him on right now, but I'm not going to do that, because I want to grab a much more powerful weapon in the form of a gun or a firearm before I decide to take him on. But we will get our first gun here shortly, as you're going to find out. Because that knife clearly will not work very effectively against him.
Wesker? Jill?
Wesker? Jill? That sounds a little like the PS1 version of Chris. Where did they go? Notice that gun at the floor there. That's the first gun we're going to get. But I'm going to press F on my keyboard to grab it. Will you take the handgun? And I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to go ahead and use the N button on the keyboard to equip the gun and select it. Now, how you use the weapon is press right-click on the mouse there to aim, but then click left on the mouse to shoot. But I'm not going to shoot because I only have 15 bullets in the pistol at the current moment. This is called survival horror after all, so you initially at least start out with not much ammo in your weapons. I'm going to go ahead and explore this main hall of the Spencer Mansion. Watch what happens here. Now, the creature that made that ghostly wail is an enemy we will be fighting later on in the game. Wonder what's on the other side of this door, says Chris. Right now, I'm going to pace around just so I can explore the gothic and haunted beauty of the Victorian Spencer Mansion. Let's look at this Chinese urn a little bit. A heavy-looking picture. Alright. It's locked. An emblem of a helmet is carved into the lock, which means we will need a key representing a helmet to be able to get in there. Now, I can go through this other giant adjacent door to my right, but I don't want to go through there just yet, as you're going to find out why. Okay, so I'm going to walk up this fleet of stairs, not because I'm going to go through any door just yet, but because I want to be able to further explore the main hall of the Spencer Mansion here. Now, just quickly, on occasion I will be using the arrow of the mouse to point at certain things I'm talking about in the game. And obviously I don't have the key needed to open this one yet. An emblem of a sword is carved into the lock, which means we will need a sword key to get that one, my bad. An emblem of armor is carved into the lock. An oil painting in a large frame. It's been well preserved and the people in it are still vividly depicted. So let's look at this giant window here. You can't make anything out through the darkness and fog. An oil painting in a large frame. The paint is dried and cracked. It's locked. An emblem of armor is carved into the lock. Okay, now that I've explored this area of the mansion a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and head downstairs. It's locked from the other side. And again, I can go through here, but I'm not going to do that, because I'm going to get up there via a very different way. Chris Redfield. Ah, man, look at that. Look at the candles or chandeliers from that angle. Ain't that amazing? Now, as I said before in my video that talks about the 25th anniversary of the very original PS1 original, I want to make a survival horror game influenced by this, both the PS1 original and the GameCube remake. Again, I'm not going to say what those game ideas are, only because I don't want to risk my own ideas for them getting stolen. But you will see me make them in the form of a video game as well as a graphic novel, perhaps. So I'm going to go through that door there. All right. And I'm going to save again on an ink ribbon via an old typewriter at the end of this video, which I'm going to do pretty much at the end of every gaming video I make for this game. Okay, now if we go up here, you'll notice that there's a zombie here. And yes, he's the one that we met at the very beginning of the game. Oh, and he almost managed to grab me there. And I'm going to make sure and see if he comes back or not. Now, unfortunately, so when the blood spills from their body there, that means we've permanently taken them down, at least for a time. However, if we don't dispose of them properly the right way, they can come back as a super fast, super powerful variant of a zombie called a Crimson Head. And in order to keep that from happening, we have to kill them in not one, but two ways. Actually, technically three. The first way is we can blow their head off with a pistol or a shotgun. The second way is we can burn their body alight by using kerosene from a kerosene canteen. And last but not least, the third way we can do that is by letting the zombie grab our leg but then smash their head. And that's another way we can keep them from coming back as a Crimson Head. Unfortunately, here's the deceased body of our comrade, Kenneth. Looks like he's holding something. It's the film that belonged to Kenneth. I need a video player to see what's recorded on it, of which we will be doing much later in the game to do that. Let me go ahead and look at this painting over here. See what Chris has to say about it. An eerie picture of the mansion decorates the wall. That's right, Chris, my man. So I'm going to go through this door here because it's going to lead us to where we need to go. Let's just take a look at the lighting here as well as this window. Maybe Chris doesn't say anything. You can't press the F button on the keyboard and have him say something, unfortunately. That is interesting, though. Now, it's not very blatantly obvious, but you see that shiny object there? That's a handgun magazine. Just grab it with the letter F on the keyboard, and I'm going to go ahead and press R to reload my ammunition in the gun. Now, notice these two herbs here. No, not there. Yeah, here. These are health we can use. These are health items, I should say, that we can use to restore our health. Will you take the green herb? Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and grab not one, but both of them, because I'm going to combine them together to form a new item. Watch. And look what I just did. Mixed herbs. A mixture of two green herbs. And we can use that to restore our health should we need to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at this dead corpse here. No, don't worry, he can't come back as a zombie, in case you're wondering. There's a corpse collapsed on the floor like it was an instant death. What the hell happened in this mansion? Very atmospheric. Just before I go do anything, look at those swinging kind of chandelier lights. Oh my gosh, that's freaky. That's why I love it. Cast some subtle shadowing too on the environment, but that's why I love it. This is an old, dilapidated mansion, to say the least. And now I'm going to go through this door here to get to where I need to go. And there's another set of herbs there, should you need it. 2 herbs specifically. So I'm going to go ahead and let that zombie come in here. He will take his time because he is a slow poke, but yeah, he will get here eventually. I'm just going to make sure. Yep, he's coming in our direction. I'm going to go all the way over here, turn around so I can aim at him. I'm going to go ahead and walk up to him so that I can get him to grab my leg, so that way I can kill him by just smashing his head. And voila, that's one effective way in which I've taken him out. Now, that's your health meter there, where it's that sort of... What do you call that? I'm suddenly drawing a blank what you call that. But if it's yellow, where it says caution, that means we have to be careful because our health is getting low. If it's green, where it says fine, then it means we're just fine. But if it's red and it says danger, that means we're close to dying. But that's why I'm going to go ahead and use the 2 herbs that I mixed together. And now I've restored my health via that very item. Okay. So he can't come back as a Crimson Head because I've already smashed his head, of course. And I can't go through there yet because it's locked from the other side. But there's another way we can get through there. Okay, I'm just going to run down this hall. Man, look at that candle there. That's awesome. Notice how we can see ourselves in the mirror there. I'm going to go ahead and run down this fleet of stairs here. Now, this is an important item we will need to open up a secret area in this map. In this mansion, I should say. Will you take the green arrow? Yes. Examine an item. From the status screen, select an item and then select the examine command. The details of the item will be displayed. I'm going to go ahead and examine it, as you're going to find out. The arrowhead looks like it can be removed. And yes, it can. Arrowhead. The arrowhead is made from peridot, sometimes referred to as a poor man's emerald. And we will need it to, again, open up a secret area in the mansion. And here's another handgun magazine, which I'm going to use there. And luckily, there doesn't happen to be any zombie here unless you're playing on a somewhat harder difficulty than I am. It's locked from the other side. Here's another mirror in which Chris can admire himself, of course, just for the fun of it. Now I'm going to head through this door here. You unlocked it. Very classically Resident Evil survival horror shot there. And now there's about 1 or 2 zombies in this room of the mansion here, and I'm going to go ahead and shoot him with my pistol there. Oh, and I blew off his head, so now he can't come back as a zombie. So I don't, luckily, need to use a kerosene canteen to set him alight or smash his head, I should say. And notice this statue of this female figure. Notice the fact in her left arm that she's raising, she's holding a bluish gem there. That will be important for later on, which is why I'm going to go ahead and lower it down here, this opening. So you're going to find out. Because we may not use it right now, but it will be important later on. And I'm going to go ahead and head back through this door here. I'll grab it some other time. Alright. Now I'm going to head to this room here in the middle, as you're going to see. This is where I'm going. I'm going to go down this fleet of stairs. Go ahead and move and jog a little bit. And unless you're playing on a harder difficulty, there isn't any zombies in this area of the game. But we've got a nice little important item here, which will be good for later on, as you're going to find out. And it's shotgun shells, which will be useful later on when we have a shotgun. Okay, let's take a moment to admire the gothic beauty and ambience of this cemetery here. Man, I love haunted house settings. I've always had a fondness for haunted house type settings, especially of the Victorian 19th century variety. Yeah. Just opening up a second can of soda just to help me be more energized during this gaming walkthrough. Helps me make the videos a little more professional anyway. Now that I stop and think about it, I should consider making ambience video for this game, much like I do Doom 3 at the current moment. And this is where we're going to put that peridot arrow. A tomb engraved with a picture of an angel. There's an indentation in the shape of an arrowhead, and that's why we're going to grab the peridot here. Yep. And thus, open sesame. This leads us to a new secret passage, as you're going to find out here. It's a very spooky area, too. See the flame light flickering on the wall there? Now notice this set of faces on the wall there. Stone statue with the hole where the eyes should be. Stone statue with holes where the eyes, nose, and mouth should be. A stone statue with the hole where the nose should be. A stone statue with the hole where the mouth should be. And it may seem random that I'm showing you guys all of that, but this will be an important thing later on for us to do, and that's because we're going to be putting something on those faces called death masks, of which will open up access to an item we will need much later on. And now there's an important item here, and if you look closely at it, it's flashing with whitish light. That's because it's something important. A book is fitted perfectly in the indentation. Will you take the Book of Curses? Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and do just that. And on the back of it, there is a key of which we will need. There's a key embedded on the back cover. Will you remove it? Yes. You got the matching key. I'm going to read this book to you guys. Book of Curses. A book of a curse. When all four fall into place, evil will awaken. The four masks. A mask that speaks no evil. A mask that smells no evil. A mask that sees no evil. A mask that cannot speak, smell, or see evil. When all four fall into place, evil will awaken. Resident Evil in this case. So yes, now we've got a key. Let's go ahead and, just for the fun of it anyway, examine the matching key. There's an engraving of a sword, so that's the sword key, which we can now use to open up areas that require the sword key otherwise to open it. Let's just take a little moment to admire the fiery beauty of this underground area. Notice those grungy, rusted chains on the floor there. Man, that adds a certain gritty attention to detail that we just really never got in the original PS1 version, released all the way back 25 years ago in 1996. Notice how the flame light, combined with those machinery there, creates interesting lighting and shadowing. I'm going to go ahead and head upstairs here. There we go. And let's take another moment to admire the gothic macabre beauty of this Victorian cemetery. Notice that fog slowly swifting across the landscape like a gothic horror film. Yeah. as I said, I'm gonna consider at least making some ambient videos for this game. And I'm gonna go ahead and... Man, I love the atmosphere in this game. I'm gonna go back through the door here. And I'm gonna turn to my right here. Awkwardly and clumsily, of course, with Chris, the way he moves. I mean, that's a joke, of course. I love Chris Redfield. He's an awesome character. You use the sword key, which means we use the sword key to open up this door here. Okay, and this opens up access to a brand new area. There's nothing here but a bunch of knickknacks. There doesn't seem to be anything useful here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this lamp over here. Now, to our right is another door. But the problem is I don't have the key required to open it just yet. It's locked. An emblem of armor is carved into the lock. Let's take a look at this thing of pottery here. See if Chris has anything to say about it. There's nothing here but a bunch of knickknacks. Not that different from that other comment he made regarding the other stuff. Let's see if he has anything to say about this painting up here. Chris, that is. Unfortunately not. Didn't mean to press that again. Obviously, I can't go through this door here because it's locked. An emblem of armor is carved into the lock, which means we will need an armor key to be able to go through that door. Now, I'm going to go ahead and grab this wooden mount here. Unfortunately, I can't carry any more items. Now, luckily, I can go to a certain area to do that. It's locked from the other side. Now I'm going to grab this handgun magazine over here. Will you take the handgun magazine? You bet I will, yes. And now that's a dog whistle, which I will grab later on, I should say, but A, I filled up my space too much, and B, we will use it for later when we need to, of course, which we don't need to use it at the present moment or current moment. An open journal. The passages are blank. Books on various peoples of the earth. Interesting. Same thing. Zombie! Now I'm going to go ahead and get close to him, so that way, if he grabs my leg, I can try to anyway. Unfortunately, I got a little injured there, but let's wait for him to come back up. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to explode his head or smash it with my leg, but coming up here, we're going to be having a very important and very useful item of which we can use to permanently dispose of him. I'm gonna go ahead and let the zombie come up here. Meantime, I'm gonna let him do his thing. And I exploded his head, so now he can't come back as a Crimson Head. As such. Now, to our right here is a door. And the room with this relaxing music here is what you call a save room, of which we will use to not only save our progress, but also to put away certain items we don't need, at least for the time being. because I am going to use it to grab a few things here of utmost importance. Such as this canteen here, of which we will need to use as fuel to burn the corpses of zombies. Will you take the fuel canteen? Yes. Now, on this typewriter here, there is an old key of which we will use, but unfortunately, my items are filled up, so I can't grab it at the current moment. There's still plenty of kerosene left. Refill your fuel canteen? Yes. You refilled your fuel canteen with kerosene. My bad. I'm gonna go ahead and go back in there quickly just to put away the shotgun shells for the time being, because I don't really need it at the moment, considering that I don't have a shotgun on me right now, that is, I should say. I'm gonna go ahead and put away this set of shotgun shells just because I don't need it at the current moment. I will grab this handgun magazine just to fill up my ammunition supply and my handgun a little bit. Now, I would grab the key that's on the stand with the old typewriter, but I'm going to save that for another time because I will need space to go ahead and grab another item. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go grab that herb there to replenish my health. And now I am restored to health, as the saying goes. Okay, now before I do anything else, I'm gonna torch this zombie's body ablaze, just so he can't come back as a Crimson Head. And I am gonna move out of the way, though. And voila, there he is, set ablaze. Now he can't come back as a so-called Crimson Head. Now, we will, alas, come across a Crimson Head in the game eventually. We can't really avoid that, because they are an enemy we will come across. You unlocked it. Master of unlocking, as Barry Burton would say to Jill Valentine. And it's this item here called a wood mount, of which we're going to use. Will you take the wooden mount? Yes. You bet I will. And I'm going to go through this room here because it has something we will need. Not terribly important, but important enough that it could be at least useful. Now notice Chris there himself says an unlit fireplace. And we're going to go ahead and use the wooden mount to light it. And I'm going to do it via this lighter here. Because it has an item that could be very useful. There's a map of the mansion, second floor, as it says. Take it? Yes. This is a map of the mansion, not anywhere in the mansion, but specifically of the second floor in the mansion. I'm gonna... First, you got the mansion, you got the map of the second floor mansion. Now, before I do too much of anything else, see that whitish thing with a red arrow pointed down? That is where I am at the current moment in the game. Now here's another door of which you can't go through just yet. It's locked. An emblem of a helmet is carved into the lock. So obviously I can't go through there just yet. And I will use those 3 herbs, 2 green and 1 red, for later on. I don't need it at the moment as I've got 100% health. Plus I might need it to save space later on. Obviously, I can't go through that door just yet. An emblem of armor is carved into the lock. I'm going to go ahead and head back down here. Because now that I have enough space, I can go ahead and grab that old key. Will you take the old key? Yes. It's an old typewriter. You can save your progress. Use the ink ribbon? Yes. Alright. Well there, folks, I believe now that I've gotten far enough in the game for the time being for now, I believe I will go ahead and end part 1 of my Resident Evil Remake walkthrough. And remember, if you like this video, please hit that like button below. And if you wish to see more of my videos, please take a zombie bite out of that subscribes button below. And I shall see you all when I see you all in the next video, folks. Until then, though, my name is Nuclear Scholarly 7. I typically post gaming and ambient videos each week, usually on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Goodbye for now and have an excellent rest of your day. Amen.